today with a guitar that I borrowed. I had to borrow this one. It's a lot of guitar. And as you can hear, it has a booming cannon sound that would project over every instrument in the room, I'm sure, if you laid into it. It's just amazing. This is a Epiphone Hummingbird that's under the series of Gibson inspired. This guitar is made of solid wood on the top, and it's made of solid wood on the back and sides. You can see the mahogany, how beautiful that is. And here's the spruce top. There we go. It's a nice looking piece of spruce. And there's that vintage look Hummingbird pickguard. So this is the Epiphone. Now there is a real Hummingbird guitar that Gibson makes. This is a copy of that. And you got to wonder, well, what are the differences? Well, I think the biggest difference really is the price. Because the price is, in fact, it's a huge difference. I mean, you can get into one of these for probably about, if you had a good day, maybe $850. I think on average, you're probably going to pay like $1,000. And that's not including, I think, the case and, you know, the things that you might need, strings and things you might need with it. But yeah, it's a really, really inexpensive, considering that you're getting a solid wood guitar of this magnitude. It's actually beautiful. Look at those parallel mother of pearl inlays, just beautiful. And so yes, it does a big difference. For the Gibson, you're looking at anywhere from maybe $3,800 to maybe $4,000 to get into one of those. So this is like 25% of the price. Another difference between the two, I think, is the finish. This has a varnish finish that's matted. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like it's smoothed out. It's like a matted finish. It's not like a high gloss like you see. And I really like that. I like the look that gives. But if you were to get into a Gibson, you're not going to get this kind of finish. You're going to actually get a nitrocellulose, which would be argued to be a better finish because of the fact that it goes on so light. And also, I've heard that they're actually, if the finish gets damaged, it's easier to repair. So, so yeah, there's a difference in the finish between the tuners. I'll show you these tuners. They're nice tuners. They have plastic knobs on them. And they do keep it in tune, because I had it last night, tuned it up, got up. Now I took it out of the bag, the case again, checked it, and it was still right on, so it's not changing. But I have to say, you know, the tuners, they feel maybe a little bit on the cheap side. I don't have the Gibson here with me, but I sense that they're not going to feel like this. But that doesn't mean they don't work. It doesn't mean they're not good. I'm just saying they're not as good as the ones that'll be on the Gibson, because Gibson, they put Grover's, the Roto-Matics on there. So those are really, really well-made tuners, where these are some unknown Epiphone name brand. So, you know, that's a savings for them. And again, I'm not complaining. I think it still works great. They still sound wonderful. Another difference is the fingerboard. So if you get into a Gibson fingerboard, you're going to get rosewood on the fingerboard and rosewood on the bridge. This is called Indian Laurel that's on this. Now, Indian Laurel is a tone wood, and it's not bad. And some people feel that as far as how they perform, it's equal to rosewood. But there's others that might argue a little bit about it. Rosewood is a very porous wood. It has a lot of oil in it. So it kind of keeps it from cracking and changing as much, where this is a much drier wood. So there's always that chance that it could check on you. So they say to, you know, keep it well oiled. And it has a smoother feel. Some people may not like that. Some people might like the feel of that rosewood under their finger. I really wouldn't have a preference myself. I think it feels fine to me. So, and you know, you can see it. It's got a little bit different look to it, and you can see that it looks pretty smooth. But again, it's you know, it's a good wood. It's a good tone wood. It tends to be a little bit heavier than rosewood, and because it's denser, rosewood, I think it's like a 7% difference. I was looking up, I was just curious about it, because I went online and I checked the weights of what, you can go on to Sweetwater, and they really have great ads because they put the weight of the instrument with their ads. And so I looked at a few of their hummingbirds that they had for Gibson, and on the average, they're about 4.5 pounds. And then I took this one, I don't know if you could see, there's a scale sitting over here, but I actually weighed it, and it was about 5.25 pounds. So it's a little bit heavier. I mean, I don't know that it'll make that much difference. It's still very balanced. It's not, you know, it doesn't feel like it's going to tip on me. It feels really good. But it is a little bit heavier. And they say that the laurel wood actually gives it a little more, you get some tone of your guitar out of your fingerboard. And so they say that it tends to be a little bit brighter, a little bit snappier sound because of the wood that they use on the fingerboard. You know, again, whereas the rose would they feel it has more sustain, more warmth. I don't know if you can really hear the difference. I mean, I'd have to have them here, but maybe you can. Well, actually, there is some difference because there's a video out there that, I don't know if you've heard of Anderson. They're in the UK someplace, but they do some wonderful review videos, and they did a blind playing test of the two instruments, and this was a bit brighter. I could hear it. And the guy that was playing had a blindfold on, and he heard it. He felt the difference. But with him, in terms of which one do you like better, it came down, he said, well, it just depends on your preference. He really couldn't say one was better than the other. They're just different. That's all. They're different. And perhaps that is the fingerboard. Maybe it's the way they shave the braces inside. Maybe these are a little more beefier. I don't know. I'd have to see it. But it does have a little bit of different sound to it. It doesn't matter to me. When I play this, it has everything. That's amazing. So there's a little bit difference there. Other than that, there's not a lot of differences. The nut on this is bone, and the saddle on this is bone. I guess that's a difference because the actual Gibson, they use tusk, the Graphtec tusk saddle and nut. So so you have to play it. If you're going to buy an instrument, especially if you're going to spend some money, it's best not to just buy it blindly. Go play it, see what it feels like. And keep in mind that if the action doesn't feel right, you can always make adjustments. You can always have that reset up. But you want to make sure that the fingerboard's not warped, and you make sure the sound you're getting is fine. Make sure that you feel comfortable, you know, playing it. This is not a guitar that I would buy because it's just too big for me. But I do appreciate the beauty of it, and the sound is just beautiful. So other than that, I don't know that there's a whole lot of differences. This has a 24.75 scale length. That's on the verge of almost moving down into a moderately short scale. It's just, you know, it's not a real long scale, so that's kind of nice the way that feels, at least for me. And the nut on it is 1.7, so it's a little bit slim, not a whole lot, but enough that, you know, you can grab around for your thumb when you're playing, and you know, you can wrap around this really well. It's just all around just a really, really nice instrument. So there you have it, the Epiphone. Inspired by Gibson, Hummingbird. Beautiful, beautiful instrument. All right, well, I hope you have a great day, and thanks for listening in.